please make sure you have, get ready for your questions. The good thing is that we are on a webinar, so I don't have to keep reminding us to mute and unmute yourselves. How many of you have been in those meetings where we're screaming half the time, Nokia 300 or 3310, mute yourself. Okay, so we're not doing that today because we will call you up when it's time for you to speak if you want to speak at that time, okay? So I'm loving this. We've probably touched all the areas, all the geopolitical zones in Nigeria, and then we've reached East Africa and South Africa, and let's see if we see anyone here who's in North Africa. And so we're touching so many places, and that's the best part. Okay, so welcome once again, and a privilege to be here. You're going to be seeing me pop up quite a bit, and you're going to meet the main bosses. So I'm just the servant girl today. I'm going to be the one for those of you who are speaking, I'm going to be the one behind the scenes, reminding you about the time. And then for our bosses who have given me the privilege to jump in from where I'm coming from and to moderate today's session, thank you. Honestly, a big thank you, okay? And so you're all welcome to the pre-conference summit. You're going to get to know more about it. So make sure you stay to the end. It's just time that you cannot, it's the most valuable time you have ever spent, okay? So I'm going to be inviting our chairperson to share a goodwill message. I had to, I'm gonna just call her what everyone else calls her. I love that, and she's one of the most just like bubbliest, loveliest people ever. I am going to be welcoming her name. Written down here is really long, but we call her Auntie B. I look forward to meeting her in person one of these days. So join me and make welcome wherever you are. Like I mean it, clap, like wherever you are. We can't see you, but clap. Join me and make welcome Auntie B, who's going to introduce herself with her full name, but I'm calling her Auntie B for now. Welcome, Auntie B.
Thank you, MM. That is such a lovely introduction. Hello, everyone. You're welcome to the third module of the Pan-African Pre-Conference Summit. My name is Mobolaji Adesoye, but you can all call me Auntie B. I'm really, really comfortable with that. I wish I had my naming ceremony. My parents just said, we'll call her Auntie B. It's a build-up to the World Teachers' Day and the Teachers' Reinvention Summit, which takes place on the 5th to 7th of October. So we already know that something big is coming ahead of us. We've had this pre-summit conferences 2 times. This is the 3rd module. And the title of the conference is Teachers Leading in Crisis, okay? Teachers leading in crisis, reinventing the future. We are leaders. We are leaders, there's no doubt about it. And we have the ability and the capacity to reinvent the future because we are in contact with the generation after us, okay? So today's pre-summit is titled Reinvent the Teacher for Income Earning. That is very necessary. I remember many years ago when I told my mom I wanted to be a teacher. Her reply was this, God forbid. She said, the teacher's reward is in heaven. I want to chop from my children's hand here on earth. Can you imagine that? But today we're going to learn so many things. There is no reason why you have to wait to get to heaven to get your reward. Nobody eats breakfast at night. You are welcome to this summit. I would like to introduce the convener. I mean, when he comes in, he's going to explain so much more than I ever can, because he's the one who carries the dream, this big dream. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Auntie B. Thank you very much for that beautiful intro to what we're expecting and what we should look out for. And without further ado, I am going to welcome and bring to the high table. So if we're in a physical place, let's say this is a high table, he's going to be grabbing the mic now, the convener of the this is like a movement. It's actually it's become like a movement. It's turned into something really super. I would like to welcome Mr. Olusheye Adepoju, and he's going to tell us a bit more about his background and bio. His bio is probably like you can't even see my arm. It's like this long. See, I'm trying to see. So if I start doing that now, we're going to take it. So he can give us the summarized version of that. He's so many amazing things. Wait, let me just say some things before, let me read at least one paragraph. Woo! So Mr. Olushaya Adekwaju has carved a niche for himself in the personal development and business strategy space with a track record spanning over 2 decades. He is like a globally certified, I love this, Gallup Strength coach, business strategist, and the chief spokesman for Women in Africa. Did you hear that? He for she. He he speaks for the she's, and that is just amazing. There's so much more, many paragraphs. So as he's talking, you're gonna get a taste of it. So please join me and make welcome. And just how we did as we clapped for Auntie B, join me and make welcome the convener of the Reinvention Summit and all the add-ons that you're enjoying, Mr. Olusheye Adepoju. Woo! Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Wow, I'm so excited, and you probably won't be able to feel, the depth of my excitement because we have moved into a new era, all right? And this era, I'm proud to announce to you, is called the era of teacherpreneurship, all right? And this is a combination of teaching and entrepreneurship, all right, which in tune focuses on teachers willing to take risks, making a profit while sharing their learning experiences and also impacting the lives of the students that they take care of. All right. And this drive, is to bring the consciousness that there's a need to separate between just teaching, because we realize that most people that get stuck in the classrooms don't truly fulfill purpose. All right. So this conference, which is coming up on the 5th to the 7th, is geared to opening the minds of people. So we started first with the individual element, first owning yourself. Okay, it's on the point where you're able to own yourself that you can lead yourself towards influencing others, and that led to the second module. And then we stretched it off to this third module, which gives you a chip of the iceberg of what to expect at the the conference, which culminates into the grand finale, and also celebrates teachers, starting off on the 5th of October 2021. Now, a teacher of entrepreneurship, or a teacher that embraces entrepreneurship, embraces business, as the case may be, and this is the right person, okay, that we need to help illuminate, okay, the minds of students, okay, and one of the things that is unique to everything that we're doing now is that teachers have been disparate, demeaned, all right, they've been set aside for one singular thing. One, the fact that they don't have the ego, the capacity, okay, using the language from where I come from the southwest of Nigeria, and we use Owo. In the southeast, they use ego, and in the north, it's kudi. And so I don't know what they call money in your locality, but if you have a different name, or for money, you could just type it in the chat box. But I can tell you, the ultimate guide is to ensure that we all are we are in tune to be able to make money. And we brought people that will come and share with us on some of the things that we can do, so that it will not take us out of our practice, but ultimately would also help us to come in tandem with what is right. I believe that this is going to be an amazing journey. I look forward to the fact that testimonials will, abound from this session. And when I say testimonials, I'm saying that we will begin to have teachers, all right, teacherpreneurs, that will ultimately start to make a difference, okay, that will start to churn out certain things, okay. Someone says money in my locality is Okoko, or whatever it is. Joel Emmanuel, awesome. So I'm saying tell others to join us, because it's so wide, and more people can make money, all right? And as you make money, you're making impact, okay? And you are also able to stay in that profession, okay, and impact the lives of students. today is not the day for me to give you long talk, all right? I'm here just to set the ball rolling. I thank the chair that has helped to midwife this, seamlessly. I thank the team at the, of the committee members. They're just so amazing, and they brought this to this point where we will now start this event. All right, now I will need to, get off the virtual LinkedIn and hand over back to the moderator. And I say, enjoy the rest of this evening, because indeed it's all about money and entrepreneurship. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I like that last sentence. It's all about money. Woo! I'm just feeling, I don't know, I'm feeling like I'm going to just have some, like, at the end of this, we're probably going to end like counting this. Thank you so much, Mr. Alicia. That was really, thank you for giving us a picture, a glimpse of what the vision behind this movement, behind this reinvention movement. And I know that we're going to have a superb time. I like what he said about, making money without having to leave the profession. And it reminds me, I led a training about a few months ago on careers in education. And we looked about, I think about 50 or so different careers that you can still be in education and you could still be bringing in income. And some people at the end were like, yeah, but how do I start? I'm scared, what do I do? The risk. And he mentioned also about taking that risk. Some things don't require you leaving that. But when you think of education, don't always think classroom or school. Okay, there's so much more. If we have the time again, I'll share about the event I went to today and some of the things that we discovered. So I wish there was music here. I have music playing around me most of the time. I have music in my head. So as I'm dancing here now, there's probably music playing somewhere. We're going to be bringing up our first speaker. We have 3 speakers today. We're going to bring up our first speaker. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to read a bit from his bio, and then you can have an idea of what we're going to learn. And then he's going to take a session, and make sure you type in your questions. All questions for each of us, please. There's a Q&A tab. I'm hoping we can see the Q&A tab on our own screen. There's a Q&A tab on my screen. It's showing on the right, bottom right, Q&A. So you put your questions there so that we don't miss them. In the chat area is where you can hail us. You can greet everyone you want to greet. You can acknowledge and say, woo, I really enjoyed that. But the Q&A place, please put your questions in that area, okay? And so let me get ready to welcome our first speaker, and then he would come on board and he's going to be speaking. You're going to be gleaning a lot in just a 20-minute, what do you call it, a tranche of time. So there's a lot to glean from him, okay? So this is lovely. Look at that. This actually covers, this is nice. This is quite good. He's talking about leveraging book publishing to build more income. I totally love that, especially as I also, published my first book last year. So let me just read a little bit about him. Let me see if I can read the first few paragraphs, and then he would introduce himself a bit more as he speaks. So Emmanuel Olatunji, the exceptional being. Woo! I should stop there. Actually, that's really good. Okay, he's a writer a life coach, a public speaker, and a publisher, a certified coach of emotional intelligence and anger management from a prestigious behavioral change academy in Nigeria, SOPCA. He's a best-selling author of the book, How to Never Be Broke Again. Okay, I'm going to just stop there. Okay, let me continue. Sorry, that's so good. I love that. A comprehensive and classic book that teaches wealth from the perspective of a young man who rose from nothing to becoming an influential figure. This is the book he called the Wealth Book of the Decade. So I'm really going to stop there, because every other thing, it's too sweet here. That one, How to Never Be Broke Again, that's all. Just start and tell us the secret. That's all I want to hear right now. So please, join my mic. Welcome. Make sure you have your pen, you have a little notebook or something to write, okay? Prepare for your questions that can help you to really, live this How to Never Be Broke Again. And join me and welcome Mr. Emmanuel Olatunji. Welcome, Emmanuel. So don't forget to be checking in the background. I may be sending you little messages, and all that, but please bring your A game. I'm ready. I have my notebook. I'm ready for you. So welcome.
Thank you so much, Emem. I'm so glad to be here. Thank you, Mr. Adepoju. It's really a pleasure to be here today. Okay, I'm very, very grateful. Okay, so just like Emem said, I am Emmanuel Olatunji, aka Iga, the exceptional being. I'm a writer, a publisher, and also a coach. And today I'm going to be sharing how to, leverage book publishing to actually, build your income. But before I go further, I would actually like to share my story because I always like to start with a story. I believe that will give a great, idea about whatsoever I'm about to share. So in 2016, I decided to venture into writing. Prior to that time, I thought that I had no skill whatsoever. I thought that I did not have anything that I could leverage on to build a life of wealth for myself. But in 2016, I thought to myself that, well, but I could write. I've been writing since God knows when. I've been writing for several years, but I've never made a dime from it. So I thought, okay, let me think of ways to leverage this skill of mine. And that was when I started writing professionally, and that was in 2016. So since 2016, I've been writing, and the incredible thing about that is that the writing that I've been doing for about 5 years before then, the moment I decided that, okay, I want to start monetizing this skill, I started making money from that skill. That was the same skill that I thought that, okay, wow, I could not monetize from. And it was that year, that same 2016, I ventured into book publishing. So today I'm also going to, in just 20 minutes, like our host said, I'm going to share with you how you can also leverage, book publishing. Even as a teacher, the incredible thing is that after I ventured into book publishing myself, and what actually propelled me was because I wanted to publish my own book. It wasn't that, okay, maybe I wanted to take it as a business. No, I knew that, okay, I have something in me that the world needs to hear. I knew I had a story to share. So that was actually the inspiration. And in 2016, honestly, I never knew it's like from the comfort of my home, I could make 6 figures in just a matter of 2 weeks from publishing an ebook, not even a physical book. I mean, an ebook. People from different part of the world, like people I have never seen in my life, even till now. They bought my book, they supported me, and I was wowed. And that was the incredible thing about this book publishing thing. And that was actually what now led me to actually tread the path of a publisher. So in case you can hear me now and you're wondering that, well, I don't have interest in maybe becoming a publisher and all of that. No, you don't have to become a publisher. I didn't start off as a publisher. I started off as a writer, then I became an author. And from there, I realized that a whole lot of people want to also know how they can turn their story, their knowledge into a monetizable skill. And that's pretty much what I'm going to be sharing with you in today's conference. Okay, so how can you actually, as a teacher, how can you leverage this thing called book publishing as a teacher? How can you make more money? How can you leverage your skill as a teacher via book publishing? So the first thing is that you must know your why. You must be clear. Why do you want to venture into book publishing? Why do you want to, why do you want to make money? Of course, money is a good reason, but before the money comes, there must be some strong reasons, that you must have before you can decide to venture into that. And that's the first thing I would like you to take note of. Because for me, at that moment, my reason was not to make money. No, my reason was not to make money. My reason was because I knew that, I have been writing and I have been making money from writing, but then there are these stories that, I need to package into a book and then share it to the whole world. Because, there is a limit to writing on Facebook or writing on WhatsApp and all of that. That can give you some level of publicity, some level of awareness and all of that. But it doesn't give you, it doesn't make you an authority, really. Yes, because everybody does that. Anyone can just log on to Facebook today, and then start posting whatsoever they like. But it's a different thing if you come out and say, let's say you want to write a book on how to make money as a teacher. I'm telling you, even your fellow teachers will start seeing you as an authority. They will start coming to you to like, wow, your book is so powerful. Like you wrote a book on how we teachers can even make more money. That's wonderful. Like I read your book. Wow. They will start, I mean, you are all colleagues, but they will start respecting you more because you have been able to differentiate yourself. You have been able to create a market even within, an industry. And that's one thing book publishing can help you to achieve. So before you decide to venture into this thing called book publishing, or before you decide that, okay, I want to start making money via publishing book and all of that, you need to be clear about your why. What is your why? Why do you want to venture into this thing called book publishing? For me at that time, like I said, it was to share my story because I knew that, yes, my story is going to inspire a lot of people. So whatsoever your reason is, it's important for you to have a strong reason. And that's the first thing that I'm going to share with us. Then the second thing is this: you need to have a very good, you need to have a good mindset towards this thing. Yes, because I need to say it right here that I've worked with, over 200, clients across the globe, like not just Nigeria. And by God's special grace, Mr. Adekojutu is one of the persons that I've worked with. So he can testify to what I'm saying right here. But one thing I have noticed among many would-be authors or, people that want to venture into this thing called book publishing is negative mindset. And it's not really their fault. It's because here in Africa, we have not yet really awoken to the power of intellectual property. You see, anything called maybe book, for example, is an intellectual property, but we don't really understand the power behind these things. We don't know that these things can make you millions of naira, even from the comfort of where you are, wherever you are. And that's why I started by sharing my story, so that whatsoever I'm going to be saying afterwards will not seem like a fable. It will not seem like I'm just here to stimulate you or anything. I'm telling you practical things. I'm telling you things that I've done, things that I've helped other people to achieve, and things that you can achieve irrespective of where you are right now. So it just boils down to you understanding the strategies, which is what I am here to share with you. So like I said, the first one is you need to know your why. The second thing, you need to have a very good mindset towards this thing. And one of the mindset that I would like you to have is that, yes, you can make money by becoming an author. Because you see, you cannot help the unwilling. Whether you can, if you, no matter how good you are, no matter how credible maybe that strategy is, if you don't believe in it, then you can't be helped. No matter what, every other person might be benefiting from it, but you will just be there like, it's a lie, it's a lie, it's a lie. So that is why it is good for you to have a very, very good mindset. So that's why whenever I want to work with any author, I look forward to their mindset, because at the end of the day, it will affect me too in the longer, because I don't like really working with, maybe people that you have to be, it's as if you are servicing their mindset. Like, see, this thing, it's sellable, this thing, and that's why you've approached an expert and all of that, So that's one thing I have noticed, from people that they've not really been able to monetize this thing called books and all of that. It is because of their mindset is negative. They feel like, oh, okay, it's only people that are broke or people that are hungry that they call themselves maybe authors or anything. But it is not like that. It is not like that. Book publishing is available to every human on earth. I'll repeat that again. Publishing a book or becoming an author is available to any irrespective of your industry. And now I know that I'm talking with to teachers now, but even with teachers, there are different types of teachers. We have teachers that maybe theirs is in the sciences, theirs in the arts, or theirs is in the commercial department or whatsoever. You can leverage this thing called book publishing. So you need to have very good mindset. Then the third thing that I'm going to talk about is what are the tools that are going to help you. Now, what are the tools? Now, for me, the first thing is that you need to, of course, I'm talking to teachers, so I know that this is not This is not something that I should even be saying. Teachers, they are good writers, or I believe so. So, of course, the one thing is that you must learn how to kind of communicate your ideas or your story in written format. Because whether you want to make money or you just want to share your story or you just want to become an author, irrespective of your motive for trying to leverage this thing called book publishing, it begins with your manuscript. If you don't have a manuscript, there can't be a book. And if there is no book, then you can't be an author. You see, so the first thing is that you must learn how to express yourself in written, in via written formats. So for me, I use my laptop, I use my phone, I don't gone are the days when we start using pen on paper, but I believe some people today, they still like writing on paper. Whichever one works for you, there are no rules to this thing. The most important thing is for you to understand the principles behind it and obey it, and then you get the result afterwards. So if you want to become an author or you want to make money from publishing, you need to understand that you need to have a manuscript. There are some people that reach out to us at Tediba, and they're like, I want to publish and everything. The first thing was, do you have a manuscript? What's your manuscript about and everything? And they'll go like, oh no, I just wish to become an author. You cannot just wish to become an author. You must have a manuscript. Now, what is a manuscript? A manuscript is an unpublished, book. It's a book in its raw form. It is a manuscript that turns into a book. So the fact that you have a manuscript does not mean that you are now an author. No. So people, they just write a book. See, and an unpublished manuscript is not, it has not made you an author. Some people, they've written several manuscripts and they will come out and say that I'm an author of this, I'm an author of that. But when you ask them, where's their book? It's my, you know what I'm talking about. So you need to understand that you having a manuscript is the first step. Now, let me break this down. A manuscript can be anything. It can be on any subject. Okay, all right. A manuscript can be on any subject, right? It can be whether you want to write about, maybe you want to write a student, maybe you want to write on, you want to write a subject on mathematics. I think someone reached out to me recently and said like, okay, he has some ideas, want to write on a book on mathematics and all of that. That can be your manuscript, right? And if your own is that maybe you want to tell your story, maybe how you were able to, maybe you were doing something before you became a teacher, and you want to share your story about your transition and all of that, that can be your own manuscript. But then after you have a manuscript, the next stage will now be, okay, editing. Hello, sir. I'm sorry. Okay, can you hear me? So after you have a manuscript, the next stage can now be like editing the manuscript. Then after editing, that's when you can now decide to publish. Okay, thank you. So now, when it comes to publishing now, there are various options, right? But because of my time is fast spent already, so let me just give you this idea. There are various types of book publishing, but the common one which I would like to share with us here is self-publishing. In fact, we have more than 8 different types of publishing, but the common one which I would like to share, which you can leverage right now, is self-publishing. What is self-publishing? Self-publishing is you financing your book publishing project yourself, and you keeping everything that comes from that book, whether it is recognitions, it is award, it is all the cash, all the profits. You keep everything. It's your intellectual property, it's your product, it's your rights. So that is what self-publishing is about. And yes, self-publishing is one of the fastest way whereby you can really monetize, book publishing today. So this topic is so broad and it's so wide, but one thing I want you to take home is that book publishing is one of the fastest strategies that can, help you to build an income for yourself, an extra income stream. With your book, you can keep making money consistently. Yes, like I've written 2 books now. I'm working on the 3rd one. There are physical books. I've done several ebooks, but I'm talking of physical books. Until today, people are still purchasing it. So that is it. So that means, let me just say, one of my book is 6.5. So imagine, okay, I'm just selling every day. I'm selling 1 book for 6.5 every day, every day, every day. That is me making at least minimum of 6.5 every day from doing nothing anymore, because once you've done the work once, then you will keep making money from it continuously. And that's the interesting thing about book publishing. I hope that I will have another opportunity to really share more on this stuff, but I would like to stop here because of my time. Thank you so much. I'm grateful.
Wow, Emmanuel, that's really good. Thank you. And you really actually kept the time. There's still more. You must finish this. I want to start like the book thing now and all that. Thank you very much. That was really exciting. And I want to just take some highlights of some of the things that you said. So you spoke about starting with your why. And I think that's like a principle for life, starting with your why is really important. So everyone out there who is listening, start with your why. Everything you want to do, really ask yourself why, and not just one why. Keep going and why, and then and why, and keep asking more. And then I like that. Define, your mindset. It really starts with your mindset. So we have to even go back to that. And I've seen a question here, which I think is really good. And when you answer that, then I would probably there's a question here we have in the Q&A section, and the person is asking, how can I make money as a French teacher? I have loads of answers for that already, but I'm going to just allow you to start with that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, you can. For instance, you can write a book on that subject matter. There are a lot of people that want to learn French already. So you can, and the interesting thing about this is that it is an untapped niche. Since we've been working, I've not really seen maybe someone saying that, okay, I want to write a book, although we've translated one of our clients' book to French, but that's a different thing. You are coming as somebody that, okay, you want to teach people French. Your book wants to teach people how to, learn French, or how to know how to speak French. Through that, it can make you a whole lot of money, because there are a whole lot of people that would love to learn this thing called French, and you can be the go-to person. In fact, your book can be of course, they may need to employ more of your services, but your book can be that fast resources that we can quickly, pick up and then go through. And if they need more of your services, they can contact you. So you can definitely make money as a French teacher. One of the things you should do is to learn, maybe write a book on how people can learn French. Then start selling it, start promoting it. And the thing is that make it cheap, in the sense that make it just make it very affordable, so that if they want to now learn more, they can now pay for your service. So you see that you are now making money in 2 ways: making money from the book and making money from your service. I mean, it's a brilliant strategy. Thank you.
Woo, never be poor, as he said. How to never be broke again. That's excellent. So, I mean, for me, languages are a big thing. I speak different languages too. And when I read that, I thought, we do know that we have the open trade and we're surrounded by Francophone countries. So it's something to tap in. Don't think about school. Always ask yourself who you are beyond, educators are stuck on themselves. So ask yourself who you are. If you weren't an educator, what would you be doing? And see yourself as being able to reach more people. So, Mademoiselle or Madame Joy, il y a beaucoup de choses que tu peux faire. So you have no excuse. Okay, there's so many things that everybody wants to learn. People are paying people per hour for French classes. I didn't even study French, but I speak French. And I teach people French when they need to ask that. Okay. And so even if you were doing an audio book where people just learn how to pronounce words properly, or like Mr. Taiwo just typed in, the conjugation alone, that's the part I hate the most of French. So I can speak it well, but if I had to write something in French, I can't write as well because of the conjugation. So if you were doing that alone and people were lining up every week just to get your, to get ideas or learn from you, I think you have so much to give. So please never see yourself only as, that educator. You're not just a French teacher. You happen to have French as one of your gifts. And I like the fact that you said, of course, the last thing you said, Emmanuel, about the tools. So you have your phone, your laptop, everything around you. You always have something in your hand. Start with a manuscript. Mine was when I started writing my book. Once I was told that I can transcribe my manuscript, that was salvation for me, because writing it, was taking forever. So I was telling the story and I was reading it and I was laughing because I had so much fun. I'm like, yeah, so this person is going to be doing this. So once I could transcribe mine by voice, that was really great for me. So that was good. And you've just revived and many of us, I'm seeing all the thank yous. Are you seeing all the thank yous and all the lovely messages? Thank you everyone for thanking Emmanuel and for appreciating him. We really appreciate you. And I like I think we have more questions. Let me see, are those for you? Okay, there are more questions, yay. Okay, so we'll take these two. I don't want to forget, so let's take them before I bring up our second speaker. I'm also excited about that, and I have more of her bio to also read, and I can see that she's in the house. So I have a question here that says, can publishing houses help one self-publish, or you have to have your own publishing house or printing press?
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, like I said, there are various types of publishing. The common one that people know are traditional publishing and self-publishing. Now, in the case of traditional publishing, what happened is that this traditional publishing firm will reach out to you. They can enter an agreement with you if they like your manuscripts. They can buy the rights from you, and they are going to be the one that will oversee everything regarding that manuscript. They will publish it, they will edit it themselves, and they will they now have the right, of course, after they've already entered an agreement with you. The only thing is that as they are now selling, they will now be paying you royalty. Of course, the royalty may be low because they have to recoup their own money and all of that. So that's one form of publishing. Now, in the case of self-publishing, yes, of course, it is called self-publishing, but you don't have to do anything yourself. In fact, after you've written the manuscript, you can just reach out to, for instance, now we are a self-publishing firm, so you can reach out to a firm like us, and then we'll oversee everything for you. The only thing is just that your money will now be the one, talking. But then, you see, you don't have to also, spend so much, especially if you know how to do it right, in the sense that, if like we have what we call Canva now. Canva is an app whereby you can use to design, books and all of that. So if you've kind of taught yourself how to design maybe book covers with Canva, then you don't need to pay, an extra fee for that. So you can just say, okay, of course, I've done the cover already. All I need is just maybe an editor to professionally edit the manuscript for me, and then maybe the layout and all of that. Then what's the cost for this? So you can see that you will save yourself from some cost, and you will still get the results that you are looking for. So yes, a publishing house can help you to publish your book while you will still retain the rights, to your book. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. Are you going to share your details maybe in the chat area? And then we can also share everyone's details at the end, right? So how they can connect with you on Instagram or your most used platform. And then we would probably address that again at the end of the session. Thank you very much. There's a question here, but I'm going to leave it because the person is asking about what about an early childhood, what about an early years educator? And I think it's the same principle. We could see if we can address it maybe at the end. I'm just coming in while I have the band. I'm actually just virtually flying into the house from a 3-hour journey to and fro. So I went for a childcare exhibition, and that's where I'm coming from. And it happens to be early years. And people are doing amazing things everywhere. And again, for the early years educator, the same thing we said, take yourself out of calling yourself an early years educator, but really look at yourself and see who exactly you are and what, the things that you can give. So some people are early years educators, but they have recipe books, or they do nutrition, or they even teach on swimming. Okay, so don't think that you have to do something that's classroom based. There's so much to give. So thank you so much, Emmanuel. Thank you very much. I am already admiring the hairstyle of the person I'm bringing up next. I'm just seeing her hair and I'm getting ready for that. So thank you so much, Emmanuel. Put in your details, please. Everyone, make sure you're following him on all the things he put. Save his number. Don't disturb him late in the night, please, but save his number, send him respectful messages, and I hope to see you all share testimonies about you writing your books. Okay, so we have our second speaker. Whoop, whoop. If we're in real life now, at least you guys will make some noise. I'm just pretending there's some music here, Yeah, that's it. That's it, Jerry, so I have, there's some invisible music here I'm dancing to, but I'm good. I'm not crazy, but I'm good. So I'm going to read her profile. And you're going to glean some super sauce You're going to glean some super sauce at the end of this 20 minutes. So 20 minutes, such a little taster, such a little, it's like a little, the starter, like the small chops, huh? So we're having Ejiro Osakede, and I'm going to read a bit of her profile, and I'm going to bring her immediately up, and she's going to share with us. And then please, if you have questions, you're going to put them in the Q&A section, and we'll take it from there. Okay, so let me read her profile. I really like this multi-potentialite. Ejiro Osakede is a woman of many expressions. She's a singer, a trainer, a sound engineer. We need sound effects, right? So as I'm saying everything, you guys go whoosh, whoosh, so sound engineer, voiceover artist, boom, podcaster, boom, show host, boom. Okay, she's the founder and the lead creator at Mixi Audiobooks, a sound production firm specialized in the production and sale of audiobooks for and by African authors. I love that. With works from notable authors like Edirin Edora's amazing best-selling book, The Productivity Checklist, and more. So Mixi Audiobooks Academy, a subsidiary of Mixi Audiobooks, is dedicated to training and certifying audiobook producers and narrators. Now, she also convenes a summit for young people, and it's called the Becoming Summit. I love the name already. She'll tell us a bit more about that. And then I like this last part, really. She's a master storyteller, and she is her podcast is called the Afrocentric Podcast. It focuses on sharing content that speaks to self-improvement and self-development, helping people find their voices, tell their stories, and spread the message of hope. I think that's like the almost the epitome of what we're talking about, actually, because everyone has a story, as we said. So don't just look at what you're labeled or what your career path has taken into. You all have a story that could sell. Okay. And most importantly, or just as important, she's a wife, mother, and mentor to young women around the world. So please join me and welcome Ejiro Osakede, who's going to be sharing with us for the next 20 minutes. Thank you, Ejiro. And welcome.
All right. Thank you so much. I kind of vibe with you.
I know, right?
Vibe, girl.
I know. You can hear the music,
okay,
right?
This is my sister that I'm here to connect with. And so I'm so happy to connect with you, Okwashi. Yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you so much. All right. So I have 20 minutes. Fantastic. This is 6:50. So by 7:10, I should be out of here. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. I salute you, Coach Taiwo. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And my brother Emmanuel. It's so good to have you here. I didn't even see your poster on time. I just zoomed in. I'm like, okay, me and Emmanuel are going to meet here. Awesome. Good to have you here. Thank you for sharing, because it felt like, okay, did you spy into my notes? But yes, I'm going to pick some things from the things you've said, and I'm going to, share from there. So first of all, I'm talking about using your voice as an instrument for generating impact and income. And that is one way that you can generate income as teachers. And I feel like this is the season for teachers. Like if you're a teacher in this season, in this year, 2021, like I actually started from like last year, 2020, till now. And I think in the next how many years, if you are in the teaching space, if you are in the knowledge space, this is your time. Like, don't let anybody take you out of the way. Like, don't let anything shake you. And this is why the first thing and the major thing, like I'm going to spend about 60% of my time here speaking to that one thing, because I know that if that one thing is dealt with, then you are, on a roll, like you are on the path. Because first of all, and that was the second thing that Emmanuel talked about, your mindset. He said after the why, after you understand your why, then you have to have a good mindset. I would say, like, first of all, like, if you're looking into the space and you're thinking about money and how to make money as a teacher, how to make an extra income, the first thing to deal with, in short, even if you understand your why, if your mind is not in the right place, you go nowhere. Don't even, it's non-negotiable. Please, if you are struggling, even with the concept of making money, right? Then please pause. Write down your why. Like, you can write it over and over again and paste it somewhere where you can see it, so you can keep reminding yourself. That's a work going on there. because you seeing it all the time also helps you remind you that, okay, this is the new me. This is what I want to see. This is what I want to become. This is the thing that I want to keep looking at. This is where I am going to, regardless of where I am now. But you cannot discount where you are now because of what you have here. So this is the first point of contact to deal with. And I'm saying this with all passion and all like drama. Like you can see me, I'm a very expressive person, but I'm saying this because I never knew how powerful the stronghold we have, especially for those of us from Africa who was born and brought up in Africa. We don't even know how strong our mindset is. We don't know how strong of a stronghold our mindset is. I hear Emmanuel saying, talking about, okay, people coming to him like him trying to, like the company trying to babysit authors to say, there is money in this thing. You get, see, like he said, he cannot afford to spend time trying to do that for you when you're supposed to come to him as the expert to help you publish your book. And he's now there trying to help you reprogram your mindset. So this is the first, like, this is the most important thing for you to do. First of all, like, just please reprogram your mindset. First of all, that you have what it takes, especially because you're a teacher. You've been teaching for years. You are learned, you know something, you have knowledge. And I mean, personally, I struggled with this. Like, I know a lot of things. I'm a skilled person, right? But I didn't accept it for such a long time. And that was a problem, because what you do not appreciate, you cannot increase, you cannot grow. What you don't appreciate, you can't grow. So if you are a teacher and you appreciate it and you recognize it for what it is, beyond the fact that this is just a means of living, this is just a means of livelihood. If you understand that you being a teacher is actually a gift from God for you. Of course, I know that there might be an exception to this rule, that being that if you entered into the space of teaching just by happenstance, just by say, oh, you were looking for work, you could not find any other job. The teaching job was the easiest way for you to get something to earn for a living. Then maybe this could not apply to you, because you are not doing that which tugs at your heart. You're not doing that which is your passion. But when you see a passionate teacher, yes, they don't pay them well, but you see, haven't you heard of students talking about their teachers, like years after they've become so great, they will still pay homage. They will still give accolades to their primary school teacher, to their secondary school teacher, to their lecturers, to say, without Mrs. Onyikosola when I was in primary 4, who taught me this, or who told me this phrase, or who gave me this idea, or who supported me in this way, I wouldn't be the person I am today. So if you are a teacher, you are blessed amongst people. And so you should even be the one earning. I know. And gosh, this is part of the programming that we've been bombarded with in Africa, to think like we mistake humility for, I don't know what to call that word now. There is this correlation between humility and poverty. Like, if you are poor, you are humble. Like, I give a poor man money, you will know his real color. Do you understand? So, first of all, we need to take it out of it. I think there's a saying that keeps going when we're growing up, like, oh, teachers, they work here, but their reward is in heaven. Don't join that school of thought, please. If you are in that school of thought, resign from that school of thought. Excommunicate yourself, expel yourself from that school of thought. Because yes, your reward is in heaven, but you also have a reward here on earth. I mean, haven't you sat down to think about it? You teach, and the student that you taught are growing up, are growing to become amazing people. And you're where you are, and you say, okay, it's because they're not paying you correctly. No. Do you see that there's a discrepancy between it, that you taught somebody, the person who you taught, the person who you taught is doing well, and you are still in the same, like, it hurts. It hurts when you go back to your alumni and you still see some lecturers, the way they were 20 years ago is the way they are now. Like, it's like, what's going on? And it begins with the mind. Because if you can think it, if you can reprogram it, if you can believe it, that if you can accept it, embrace it, that you are a person of value, then you are able to continually upgrade and update yourself so that you are constantly dishing out that value at every given point in time. And so that comes and brings me back to using your voice. I mean, you're already a teacher. You already speak to kids. I doubt that there is any teacher who will say that they are shy. They can be shy, they can be introverted by personality, but by the virtue of who they are, by the virtue of what they do, teaching others, it means that they speak. They are always speaking. They're always talking, right? They're always teaching. And so if you are teaching, you are receiving, right? You have to, you know the saying when they say readers are leaders, you know, when you take in, then you give back. You are a channel, right? You're a channel of knowledge. So that means you are constantly learning so that you can constantly teach. Of course, I know that to an extent, our educational system in Nigeria is just, I don't know if it's all of Africa, but I can speak to Nigeria because I'm Nigerian. It's nowhere to, like, I know the system itself is faulty, but you know, as a teacher yourself, you know the amount of work that you put, especially like I said, if this is something that you are passionate about, you know the amount of work, the amount of care that you put into ensuring that your students are best, that you put into ensuring that your students understand what you are teaching them. You are learning to understand what you're trying to teach so that they can understand it better if you're a good teacher. Because I remember when I was in school back then, even in university, I was supposed to learn French. My sister and my brothers, I could not learn French because I hope my French teacher will not watch this. But our French lecturer, this one is not teacher, our French lecturer will come to class. Our class is supposed to be like an hour and a half or 2 hours. And 1.5 hours out of the time is telling us stories that touch every time. And then now give us plenty of homework to go and be transcribing French. We did not know anything. I can't speak French to save my life. Of course, I know I could have learned it, you know, on my own, but I'm not, like, languages are not a thing for me. There are people who are blessed. So it will take me extra effort to actually pick up on languages. Do you understand? But so if you're a passionate teacher, you know that you're constantly, you're not just getting the curriculum, getting your notebook, your curriculum, and do your notebook and just giggling back. No, that's not how you work. That's not how it works. When you're a passionate teacher, you are looking at your students to see what works for them, to see how best they understand what you're teaching them. And that brings me to, you know, I've hosted one of the teachers that won the global prize. I think he came in second. I'm not sure. He came in top 10. The first Nigerian, he came in top 10 globally in the Global Teacher Prize Award. And, you know, that's what he does. Olasukomi, he doesn't teach like, okay, just let's teach, just copy notes the way they've been doing it. No, he empathizes with his students and teaches them how they would understand. So he uses all kinds of tactics. He uses music, he uses sound. He remixes songs that they already know, like popular songs that they know, so that they can learn what he's teaching them and it can retain. He infuses fun into it. And so when you are passionate about teaching, that's what you do. And so when you do that, then you're able to think about, okay, how can I make this better? If I'm able to teach 10 students, how am I able to teach 50 students? How am I able to expand that 50 students to 1,000 students? And that's where the extra source of income comes in. So that as a teacher, let's say this is the curriculum of your school. This is what the school, whatever school you're working with, this is what, you know the curriculum, you know how it goes. There are still some loopholes in that curriculum. There are some things that are missing in that curriculum. What about if you as a teacher position yourself to fill in that gap outside of school? Of course, even as teachers, I'm sure that most of you do like extra curriculum activities or extra classes or tutorials, you know, stuff like that. So what are some gaps that you've noticed in the system that the system is unable to handle, that you can then be the person that plugs in that gap? And by the time, if you're able to do it for one, I am just a believer that if you can do it for one, you can do it for 1,000 people, right? But that's that where technology comes in, where you're not able to say, okay, I'm a teacher. This is my timing for school. But I mean, teachers, you guys are blessed. You don't understand. You guys are blessed. You are the only profession, I'm not sure, let me not say only, but you're one profession that have holidays when your students have holidays. Yes, I know you don't have the whole term holiday like the student themselves, because sometimes after the general holiday for the kids, you're still there to round up, and then you are there to start the session before they resume, right? But in between, you still have break. What can you do with that time? How about you learn 1, 2, 3, or 5 new skills for this season? Like I said, this is your time. Like, don't dull it. This is your time as somebody in the knowledge space, and you're already there. It's already your forte. So don't let other people don't let us come as coaches, as storytellers, and just own that space and push you out of it. No, you're already there. So just leverage what is going on. Look around you. People are beginning to share their stories and connect with it. Just like Emmanuel said, being an author is one way to do it. And extending that to, so if you have students, have you paid attention enough to your students to know their style of learning? Have you paid attention enough to your students to know their style of learning, such that in your classroom, you know that some of your students are auditory learners? You know, some of them are kinesthetics, some of them are visual learners, but you know that some of them are auditory learners. And they are finding it difficult to pace up with the people who are quick with writing, reading and writing, you know, visual and all of that. And so it's easier for them to listen and listen and listen. What about if you then create that source for them, right? I mean, if you have paid attention enough to see that a particular set of students learn better by listening, and then you are able to now create maybe your class notes, create it in audio format for them. And that's not going to be, it's going to come as a resource for the students. And so now what we'll now be thinking about is how can we plug that into what the school already offers, or how can you, you know, prefer that solution to students directly as an extra resources, because you paid attention to the challenge that they have, that these students, they learn better when they listen. And so instead of me to force them to write notes and read like the others, I want to have an audio version of my classes, of my lectures, just for this kind of students. But it will shock you that even those who are reading, who love to read, who love to write, who love to be visually, they will benefit from it as well, because it gives them time to be able to also learn fast, to understand faster, to hear what you have to say and all of that. And that's where I come in as the audio person, because I just believe that audio is also powerful. And it's another way for you to build your impact. So how about if you want to go into a small space or create a space for yourself as a content creator in that regard? So whatever subject that you have strength in, start to create little content. I mean, plug into social media, because whether you like it or not, it is here to stay, right? And I'm not saying you should be on all platforms. Look for a particular platform that works for you and use your voice on that platform. Teach that which you know, even in little bits and chunks. If you do that and people resonate with that and parents resonate with that, I mean, I feel like parents are also looking for content for their kids, content that are safe, content that are safe for their kids. So that it's not just like, you know, content like a mixed crowd, right? So I'm hoping that, you know, people like Tibiba will have sections where they are attending to only children or young children, or, you know, in age gaps, right? But if you teach what you know using audio, yes, you go to people like Emmanuel to do the ebook version of it. You come to people like us to create the audio version of it, or you can create the audio version by yourself, right? And that is like different. So like Emmanuel mentioned, one particular thing now has different streams for you. You have the story, you have this knowledge, you have this expertise in this particular kind of knowledge. You create the ebook of it, you create the print book of it, you have an audio version of it. These are 3 kind of people that you are reaching out to. We have the visually impaired, who says that if you come up as a teacher and say that is your life mission, I'm not sure, like if that is something that has been tugging at your heart, like you see visually impaired kids and you feel for them and you're wondering how you can help them. This is one way that you can help them. Gather resources for them to be able to still benefit, even though they can't see. Yes, they can hear, right? So that they can benefit and learn, you know? So the possibilities are endless. But first, you got to accept it here, that you as a teacher, You are a person of value and you deserve more. You deserve more, and it is available. You just need to tap into it. And there are amazing skills out there that you can learn. If you want to leverage social media, if you want to leverage the online space, there are things that you can put in place. There are things that you can set up. Like if you have a sales funnel that just kind of lead people on a journey from meeting you to meeting your content, like automate it, that is there on its own while you're still doing your day-to-day teaching job. Like the possibility is just endless. But like this is the very one thing that I need you to leave here with. It has to start from your mind. You are a person of value, and value can never be broke, right? So you just need to leverage what exists, leverage the technology, leverage the people, leverage the ideas that are abound all around us, and then you can continue to expand your influence using your voice as a teacher. Thank you so much.
Woo, 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 woo. Thank you so much. You see, okay, we're continuing our vibes. Thank you so much. And I know that there's a lot of clapping going on. People are like hailing. I like the way the chat area is like, whoa, you look at that.
Oh my God.
Look at Auntie B. Look at Auntie B.
Balaji is like, oh my God, it's hot in here. It's hot in here.
No, it really is hot in here, actually. See, I've unbuttoned my little
sleeve. Thank you, ma'am.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Ejiro. Thank you very much. And I love the way everything has flowed so well from Emmanuel's, bit to Ejiro. Thank you. I love that last part. Use your voice, share your story. And, I think this is just really powerful. I would come and check if there are any questions. It's been a great conversation. Identify the gaps in the system. I think that's one piece of advice that we should all remember. That is a word for all seasons. So when people talk about stuff and complain, are you one of the people that join them and throw a whole pity party and say, that's how Nigeria is, or God forbid, okay? Or you abuse anywhere that you are, or you go back and think and say, how can I find myself in a solution there, okay? So there's so many things going on. I mean, as I said, today, my eyes have I'm still like reeling with all the ideas people have come up with, all in the name of education. There's so many things going on out there. All right, so you must take out time and really study the trends, and then being a teacher, as Ejiro said, is a gift of God for you. I think it's a beautiful thing. I enjoyed my years of teaching. I think they're they're things I talk about forever. And this is a very long time ago, so, and I talk about it all the time. I still strangely see some of my students once in a while. Some of them are married, to tell you how old, yeah, wow. Some of them actually married, like, yes. Awesome. So actually, and it's beautiful. Some of them remember you. Some of them siblings are, you see them and they tell you, oh, you taught my, so it's really a lovely thing. And you have to, yes, and stop putting that thing and saying, I'm being humble because I'm poor. No, I love what you said. Once someone has got money, then everything changes. So it starts from here. As you're listening to this, please be holding your head. I saw something where they told everyone to be hitting their heads, but I'm not going to ask you to do that. So please, don't hit your heads. But if you need to, if it's going to help you shape your mindset, please go ahead. But don't say I told you that. I didn't tell you to hit your head. But if you feel that's going to be something that will help you, it starts from here. It starts from the mind. And I love that. So you need to be able to shift your mindset. I love the flow. I hope nobody has put questions in the chat area, because I am probably not going to read them unless they're in the Q&A section. So let me just check this. I know we're educators. I know that okay, yeah, that one I can answer you. Yes, I know that we're educators. I know that we read instructions and we do follow. So someone is asking whether we're going to get notifications the day before the conference. Girl, you're going to get notifications, or guy, person, you're going to get notifications like from as soon as you register now. We're going to be sending you, if we could come to your house and knock on the door, we would do that. We would do that, okay? So you would get notifications even the hour before, okay? You're going to get a lot of that. So every educator, put in the chat area, like one key thing that you learned from the presentations you've had so far, you are a person of value, and don't let anyone take that away from you. We just have to stop seeing ourselves in the light of what everyone else paints us to be. Okay, we're bringing back that dignity to the education profession. That's what we want to do. So thank you so much, Ejiro. Thank you very much for this.
Thank you for
awesome time. It's been lovely. Yes, and I'll check out your podcast also. So please, Ejiro, please share your details in the chat area, so how people can connect with you on social media. Where's your podcast hosted? or we can just look for it on Buzzsprout or something, or one of those places here. So let us know where it is, or Spotify, and then we can check that out. So we can all go and download the podcast and begin to get the episodes, and and begin to learn from there. So that's really excellent. Thank you very much. Let me see what we're doing a bit okay in terms of time. We have one more speaker, but we have a video ad. I want you to be sure that it is ready. If it's ready, oh yes, thank you. People are typing. I like that. You see, if I was near you now, I would have given you a sticker, but I'm not near you. I like stickers and I like rewards. I love that. So create content from your experiences in the classroom. That's really what we do. I have a podcast too. I actually just share. I actually share I share experiences of things that I've gone through. I mean, this week has been crazy. I've done some really questionable in a good way things. Okay. Yes. Perfect. Okay. That's really good. So so yes, shareable content from your knowledge. There are people, if you those of you who happen to be on TikTok, my kids are on TikTok. I'm not. There are a lot of educators, especially in the States and other countries, who are they get like millions and millions of views just from sharing their content of the things that they have done, and even the blunders they've made in their classroom. People gravitate on those things. Okay, I can't think of their names right now, but I'm sure if you go and check and you sign up on a place like TikTok, they're even TikTok, sorry, they're teachers of Instagram. There's a hashtag like that. You can connect people from all over the world. So there's so many things that you can do and benefit and learn and begin to share your own content. Okay, so tell your story. Where you are, you're there for a reason, to tell your story. If you don't tell it, nobody would know this, and your story is valuable to others out there. So thank you. So we're going to watch a video very soon, and then we're going to watch a video, especially preparing our minds for the main summit. People say that thing, the main. Anyway, yeah. I heard someone say that recently. So the main summit itself, which is next month. The time is actually ticking. It's actually around the corner. Okay, so that one, you're going to pay a token for that. We want to touch from everywhere, people from everywhere, sponsor teachers. There's so much to do. So we're going to watch that video for 1 minute, and then I'm going to be inviting our last speaker for the evening. So let's enjoy. Yes. That was it. Did you see that? Did you all see that? Please put in the chat area. Isn't that exciting? It's around the corner. It's just here. Like next week, we're already entering October next week. So it's around the corner. We're going to be celebrating teachers with the theme, all over the world, the first ever Pan-African conference. So please, these are just tasters. You're going to get so much. You're going to be walking with a new spring in your step. You have to make sure that you're there 5th to the 7th. Super value, $5. Thank you. I like that. Thank you for anticipating. Thank you very much. Okay, so our last but definitely not the least, we're going to be bringing up our third speaker for the evening, and then we get the chance to have a bit of a panel discussion where we ask questions. So please stay on there because this is going to be life-changing for you. Okay, so let me read the bio for our third speaker. I am so sure I've seen this lady dancing in some places. I'm not sure, but I think I've seen you dancing on some things. But yeah, yes, you're gonna yeah, you're gonna admit that later, right? So we have Okenyefu. That's a good point. I've never actually been able to be sure that I'm pronouncing it properly. But Okenyefu Ajayi is an evidence-based education entrepreneur, a learning strategist, and she also has considerable experience in business design and strategy. She's passionate about capacity development in the education and social development space because she believes that without a functional education framework and practice, nation building will be truncated. Well, that's very deep, okay? She has an intense passion for helping adults teach effectively and providing invaluable support to schools and children. This passion and deep love for children led her to birth her dream in Busy Minds in 2013. Now, her experiences as a mom and wife help her relate to the parents and provide services that are beneficial for the family and relevant to the society. She's a purpose-driven individual, a published author, and a writer, a capacity development and performance coach, a mentor, and a sought-after speaker. She's also a performance and positive work culture enthusiast. And these are some reasons why I think I've already gravitated towards this lady. I look forward to her presentation. We're looking at education, and I'm assuming this goes with learning strategy. I really want to hear more, and let's see what nuggets, again, we can glean in this few seconds. That's like 20 times. How many seconds is this? 20 minutes times something. For the people that do math, please, 20 times something. Is that 1,200 seconds or is that 120,000? Anyway, something, one of those just. So in 20 minutes only, I wish it was like 20 hours because I know there's so much to glean from her. Let's get ready. Please take down your notes. Make sure you're putting your comments and the things you're learning in the chat area. And as questions come to mind, put them in the Q&A section. Join me and the rest of the team and the chair and the founder and the rest of us to welcome Okenyufu Ajayi, Mrs. Ajayi. Please welcome her to the high table as she takes this session. Thank you very much. And I'll be sending you behind the scenes chat if need be, okay? What time?
No problem. Thank you so much. Yeah, sure. I mean, I see that we're on 40 minutes right now, so yeah. I will keep an eye on that clock and just make sure that I stay under that time. Hi, everyone. So it's amazing, amazing being here. I've just been listening and just grabbing all sorts of beautiful nuggets. So the reality is, my name is a mouthful, but let me tell you what it means. My name means, so I'm from Edo State, Igara, Akoko-Edo in Igara. Igara is in Akoko-Edo, so that's where I'm from, right? And I'm the first girl. So when my parents had me, they're like, hey, finally, that's like all the symbols, all the dancing came. So yes, I'm like a dancer, totally. On my Instagram page, I'm constantly dancing. So you got that right.
Yes, okay, that's why I love you. Good.
Totally dancer. But you know, they gave me this name, and it means Okenyufu. What Okenyufu means is one who has come to give people water to drink. So imagine that you're thirsty, right? And somebody suddenly tells you there's water here. You're going to want to go and get that water. And guess what you're going to be thinking? Where is it? I'm already tired. How long is it going to take me to get there? When I get there, what am I going to use to scoop the water to drink? Are there many people there? Will I still have water? You know, so, oh, really, Evan, you're distracting me, but it's great. See, we have so many things in common already. Oh, wow, fantastic. Okay, so just imagine that, guys. What I want to talk to you today is the teacher portfolio, all right? And I love this topic. In fact, that's just thinking about reinventing the teacher, it just blows my mind, right? Because the reality is, what you don't know, you don't know. Yes, being in education for me has been life-changing. And I'm not saying that simply because it's a good thing to say. My life literally has been changed being an educator. What I want you to do today, right? Everybody sitting here, is to think about light. Light, that's what I want you to think about. Now, when you think about light, guess what happens? You only see the white light. But in that light, right, it's called a spectrum. There's so many different colors, hues, intensities, all sorts that are in that white light that we see. But if all we focus on the white light, because that is all we see, if that is all we focus on, then there is a huge, huge problem, because guess what? You're never going to see the rest of it. So that's what I want you to think about as a teacher. What I need you to begin to think about is, who am I? I mean, I've been in 2 sessions. Emmanuel's session was fantastic. And of course, Ejiro's session, I was wondering, wow, what am I going to say? Why did they put me last? You know, that was what was running through my mind. But the reality is, all of these things that they've said, right? If you do nothing with it, then nothing is going to change for you. Nothing. So I need you once again to think about that light. And I'm actually in this particular room in my house because it's very lit up, right? So you notice it's really bright, just looking at me. Now think about the light and begin to think about the spectrum. Then think about yourself as a teacher and say to yourself, what are the things I can do as a teacher? Think about your CV. So for me in this session, I need you to be very introspective. We never grow because of what we've been through. We don't even grow because of what we've known. We never grow from our experiences. We grow because we take a sit back and say, what just happened? That's when we begin to grow. When you sit back and say, gosh, what are those things Emmanuel said? You mean as a French teacher, I can actually do more? You mean as a French teacher, I can open a YouTube page and drop nuggets 5 minutes and let people know they can contact me, and then create the back end for how I'm going to be receiving those messages from people, how I can automate that using something as simple as a Google form. You mean that I can also automate the responses? Wow. You mean I can actually download an app on my phone that I can use to respond to these messages quickly? When you begin to think about what is available to you, just by thinking about the fact that you're in the light that contains a spectrum, that is the minute you begin to move. Because guess what? You finally see that there's so much more to you than what you currently are doing. Let me talk to you about members of my team. So it's very interesting, the kind of team that I run, right? And I'll give you an example. Yesterday, my team has a podcast, 2 of them. Actually, one used to be on my team, but then she left. But I still have a conversation with them because it really doesn't matter, right? And they interviewed me on their podcast. It's called After School Handout Podcast, and it's fantastic. And one thing we talked about was how us as teachers are stuck in the mud. Now, there's a game we used to play when we were young. It's called Stuck in the Mud. You know, you're running around and then somebody says you're stuck, and then you're stuck, you're standing there. But it's a fun game. But guess what? On the inside of us, we're anxious because we don't want to be stuck in the mud. We want to move. And that's where you are as a teacher. That's where I was as a teacher. We were stuck in the mud, not understanding the fact that actually the ability to move was within us. We just needed to lift that leg and just move forward. But then we don't realize that, because guess what? There's something sitting on our shoulder that is saying to us, so you too, you want to move. So you too, you think you can do this. Yes, you can. That's what I've come to tell you today. That yes, you can. But you must come from a place of self-awareness. You must ask yourself, where am I? Who am I? What can I do? And that comes from cataloging your skills. So I would say again to you, look into the light and then pick up your CV, okay? Hold that your CV and look at it. Then I'm going to go into, let's look at a preschool teacher. As a preschool teacher, guess what? You are, of course, you understand how to interpret curriculum because you do it all the time. You know how to create lesson notes. Why? Because you do it all the time. You know how to connect activities with children in the classroom. Why? Because you do it all the time. You also know how to organize events because guess what? Your classroom every day, the playground every day is an event. You can do that. You know how to organize children, keep them engaged, keep them seated, keep them waiting, because guess what? It ties into the event and you can do that. These are specific skills that come out of what? Just being in the classroom. Of course, you can talk to parents and you can let them know what is going on with their children because you do that. You know how to decorate. Thank you very much, Ojobo. Fantastic. You know how to decorate because you do that all the time. You're constantly doing what? Decorations in your classroom. You also know how to do what? Write reports, because guess what? You're constantly writing reports. Out of these 8 things that I've said, do you realize that those are part of your portfolio as a teacher? But all you see and all we see as teachers is you see what? Teaching. The teaching profession is a spectrum, okay? Now, if I hold this pen and I look at the end to end of this pen, the reality is if all I see is just this casing of the pen, that's all I'm going to assume is the pen, but that's not it, right? The end to end of the pen is so much more than just the pen. And so I'm going to look at the fact that this clicks. And when it clicks, what happens? On the other end, something is going on. There's writing on this pen, right? And of course, if I unscrew it, what happens? There's stuff on the inside I don't even want to begin to think about. But what we see is a pen. And if we say, describe the pen, we're going to say, oh, we use it for writing. But beyond using it for writing, I can use it to scratch my hair. I can use it for all sorts of things, right? I can even use it to point. If I'm not careful, I can put it in my ear and try to use it to clean my ear. That's you as a teacher. There's so much more on the inside of you, but if you never see it, then you're never going to be it. What you imagine, you can create. If you cannot imagine, you have no business even starting on that journey of creation. So you must, first of all, one, understand who you are. Understand the fact that as a teacher, you carry a portfolio, and it is such a freaking important portfolio, but you must first believe it. You must believe it. Secondly, you must understand the fact that you have to recognize your skills, which is why I say catalog your skills. Hold that CV and stop looking at the things that you do. Look at the skills that you have used, right, in creating those things, and you'll be amazed what it is that you come up with. Number three, ask yourself, all these skills, all these things that I've come up with, which ones can I do right now? Okay, ask yourself that question. Once you've answered that question, I mean, the possibility, see, I'm incoherent right now, actually. The possibilities honestly become endless to you and for you, because guess what? You have finally opened the door and you're ready to walk through it. When you have listed all of that, then say to yourself, what has expression? Because guess what? All these skills that you've listed that you can do, not all of them have expression. At least not all of them have expression right now. So you must begin to ask yourself, what has expression right now? And depending on where you are as a teacher, right, you might be thinking about two things. You might be thinking of sustenance, or you might be thinking about impact. If I'm a teacher who is just starting out, so I'm fresh out of school, or I have a family, I've just moved jobs, I've just moved businesses, I mean, all of these things are happening to me. Guess what is going to happen? I'm going to be thinking about how to make money because I want to eat. You know what? I want to eat. Impact. What's MM talking about? What Mr. Adekoju talking about? What impact? I want to eat food. And that's okay. But at a certain stage of your life, you need to understand that there's much more than food that you need. I'm going to go just use something very quickly from the story of Joseph. My apologies if we have Muslims in the room. I'm not trying to sling you over the head with my religion. That's just who I am. So I'm going to use that example. When you begin to catalog your skills, right, and you determine the ones that have immediate self-expression, what happens to you is that you begin to see different ways that you can connect those skills to other people. When Joseph started, what happened? He was a dreamer. He was dreaming about what? His family, right? And then what happened was that he got sold. So one thing is, beyond knowing your expression, you need to have an understanding of when to express it, who to express it to, how to express it, how to measure the impact. That's so critical. Those 4 things. And I'm happy this has been recorded so you can listen to it again. And yes, I have an eye on that clock, I promise. Okay. So think about those 4. Right now, when you think about that, what then happened? He went to the house of Potiphar, and guess what happens in the house of Potiphar? Again, he got what? He got into that space where it almost seemed like his dream was dying out, right? And that's what happens sometimes. You finally find expression. You finally go to Madam Bolaji, Madam Adesoye. You go to Emmanuel and you say, you know what? I have this amazing skill. Solomon, come, let me tell you about it. You're like, okay, all right, that's great. And then what happens? Shh, no, that's the time when you say, what? I'm not going to let this go. I'm going to push. Because the minute you let it go, it's gone. It's gone. And you don't want it to go. And then what happens? You get thrown into prison. So you're then saying, okay, who else do I go to? The prison represents a place where you cannot really express yourself. It's on the inside, but you can't express yourself. And what did he do in the prison place? He didn't sit down doing nothing. He was looking for opportunity, right? And because he's looking for opportunity, you are looking for opportunity, which is why I said, when you catalog your skills, you know your skills, you understand who it is that you're called to. I know this is 20 minutes teaser session, so I can't really go deeply, but guess what? When you identify that wherever it is that you are, you will express yourself. Maybe not in your primary way, but you will find expression within yourself, okay? And then what happened? Somebody else dreamt. And imagine that I was Joseph, I'm like, you dream, so you can concern me for this. I mean, I don't get, guys. My pidgin English comes out from time to time. I'm like, which I got concern me inside this your dream. I mean, what can pass? I want to dream my own. No. There are times, right, that people's, I don't want to say problems, but when people are stuck in the mud, right, and you're the only one that has the stick, and you can pull them out of that mud, you need to not think about the mud you're stuck in. You need to ask yourself, how can I pull somebody else out? In pulling somebody else out, what have you just done? You have diversified. And you have connected to people who perhaps can talk to the king about you and get you out of that prison to do what? To interpret the dream for the king. But you just don't know. Right? Guess what? Why? Because all you're doing is looking at teaching. I'm a teacher in a classroom, when there's so much more on the inside of you, my darling educators, than just teaching. And you might say, oh, Keke is just saying this because she has a teacher, she has a school, she does. It's not because of that. It's because I understand this very clear fact. The minute you understand what you have, what you carry on the inside of you, and you believe enough in yourself, you will move, because you would know that there's somebody out there that is waiting for you. Until you open up your mouth, till you give that gift expression, you would lose it. Let's go back. And then what happened? Two people had a dream. And what did he do? He interpreted that dream. And he told them, he didn't just interpret the dream, right? He said to them, when you go, don't forget me. And he didn't waste time with the other guy who was going to get his head chopped off, right? He focused on the guy that what he knew was going to come out. And he said, when you go, don't forget me. I dare your guy, as I help you now, help your guy, Sometimes as teachers, right, we let ego, or maybe not even ego, and I mean, this is not just for teachers, right? Generally speaking, sometimes we let ego, and ego comes as I'm shy. Ego comes as, what would they say? Ego comes as, you know what, let me just wait it out. What is it? You don't want to put yourself out there. End of the story. The minute you say, you know what, I'm going to put myself out there, you would tell somebody, say, you know what, when you go out there, I'm here. Because you understand the fact that men are God's gifts to men. And so if I see that you are my gift, why can't I meet you and let you know that the way that I have poured into you, I can pour out into somebody else. So don't forget this. But most importantly, what expression have you left in that person that would make that person want to do something else when they go out there? You're going to have to think about it. And then this is the final point for me, right? When you think about your portfolio, content. You must constantly build your content, which is why if you haven't registered for this conference, I don't know what you're waiting for. Because all these 2020 small chops, like Ellen said, that you're getting, is that what you think is going to fill your stomach? Is that what you think is going to move you to the next level? No. You must invest in your content, right? Why do you need to invest in your content? Because when you finally get that break, and guess what? Egypt is in trouble. And finally, you interpret the dream. What happens when you understand the content that you carry is, guess what? You begin to give them solutions for not just the dream, for how they will stay on top of the game within the expressions of that dream that the king had. The only reason, right, why Joseph didn't stop at interpreting that dream is that, guess what? He knew that if I stop here, could work for me? I need to go further. I need to make an impression. I need to ensure that somebody somewhere remembers me. And he did. He gave it, but he didn't tell him, you know what, I can do this for you. But the way he interpreted that dream, there was no way. Who else were they going to give the job? The other people who couldn't interpret the dream? Of course not. The king is not dumb. And because of the way he had positioned himself as a solution provider, it was easy for the king to say, you know what, take my ring, take it, take my robe, wear it. You know what, I'm handing over to you. And that's what happens when you understand the fact what is on the inside of you, but you just don't understand what is inside of you. You know how to express it. You need to come for that conference because you will not only learn, right, how to express it, how to connect your dream to the people around you. You would also understand who the people you should be connecting to are. Look, admin just dropped in the resignation link. You need to register for this conference, right? And I'm going to end finally with this. You need to shift your mindset. You need to shift your mindset and see not only the light, but begin to see the entire spectrum. You are a person of value. You know, so many people have repeated it in this conference. And you need to understand that you're a person of value. Where is that extra oil that you carry? Do you recognize it? If you don't recognize it, then how are you going to give it? Right? So you must sit back after all of these things that you've heard today and say to yourself, hey, where are they? You really, really have to ask yourself that question, where are they? And then the final part in portfolio is portfolio management and measurement. You must be able to manage your portfolio. As somebody who is working with somebody else and you're thinking of moonlighting, right? You must say to yourself, most people, once they have a business idea and they want to run with it, let me just resign. Like Emmanuel, I don't sell 10 books, 65K one day. What? And I dare imagine, baby girl. How do you know, baby boy, that somebody else is going to buy those books? 10 again. You just don't know. So you need to build in a pilot, right? And run that pilot whilst you're in that space, okay? So I know MM is here, so I need to shut up. But you know what? Come for the conference, register for it. And I can tell you for a fact that you cannot remain the same because nobody on that conference panel will let you remain the same. Thank you so much. My name is Okeinfo Ajayi, and it's been amazing being here. Thank you, MM. Thank you, Mr. Adekoju.
Wow. Oh my goodness. I sure I can give you guys everyone like a few more minutes. Well, thank God we have the panel. Now, before I was sweating, I don't know. NTB, what are we doing now? Like the fan, I don't know, an AC to blow on my head. I don't even know what to do. You guys, you both have just, my sister, please. Ciao. I've also, she's our person. Hey, I've also Kokoro. Hey, Kai, she's our person. Thank you so much. I don't know. I'm so like these are people after my own heart. This is the language I speak all the time. This is just it. You know. I don't know where I day. Where you day? Please ask yourself. Type it inside here. Where I day. That's like the caption. I'm going to do the hashtag right. Where you day? Where you day first? Lovely. Thank you very much. I want to pick some things that she said, and then we are going to. We want to make sure we actually finish on time. So we're going to spend some time on a brief panel session where you are able to toss in your questions. If need be, we're going to call you guys up. Oh, okay. Let me see that. Yeah, if need be, we'll probably bring you. We'll probably bring you up. Also, we'll probably bring you up. So I like this thing that she said. She said teaching is actually a spectrum. The same thing we say, and education is a spectrum. So it's a whole value chain from here to here. There's so many things. There's so many aspects you can find yourself in, and then one key message, if you're able to run even with this alone, you'll go somewhere. Identify your skills and then ask yourself which one of these skills you can find expression for. All right. So one of the things I remember when I was teaching then, I was really great at content development. I was always making things. In fact, my colleagues will come and say, you know what, we will help you do this. Just come and help us. You can give me any topic. You can take me to the gutter reel and I can tell you 10 things you could do. And that's what I do in the public sector now. So it comes naturally. So you would say, we have no, I said, no, you cannot tell me you have no materials. We have sand. We're going to turn this into a 5-module course now. And those are the kind of things that I would do. And so when today, you know, when I went somewhere, I introduced myself in a very different way because you must really see yourself as much more. Even while I was teaching, people would call me from other parts of the world. Oh, I'm looking for this. How do I find this? So I'm a connector. So today I said, yes, I'm an education industry expert and I facilitate market entry into Africa because that's what I do because everybody wants to come to Nigeria, but I'm still an educator. Okay. So I'm still an educator, but that's what I do now. As we were there, they were all saying, I want to come to Nigeria. Simple. We'll help you come to Nigeria. That's what it is. That's what I do because we understand the Nigerian market. So you must not even expand. Scatter, not scatter. Not scatter. Scatter. Scatter your mindset, this thing, scatter it. Forget that whole thing and stop saying, don't confine yourself. As a type, Mr. Adepoju has typed in the chat area and talked about see yourself beyond the classroom, okay? That's really what it is. Please, it's not a prison. You're not stuck there, all right? So when we say educator, when I say I'm an educator, I say it with so much, like, you know, what that thing we say? Do we say carry shoulder? What's that thing? We always have expression, something about the shoulder, but you know, so so that's it. When you're saying I'm an educator, please, you know, you raise your shoulders and all that. So I keep asking yourself, where are you? All right. So manage your portfolio. Oh, please don't just jump out. A friend told me yesterday, she called me in a panic that 2 teachers just let's say they're starting a business. Meanwhile, they started the session with them. They got resumed on Monday. 2 of them left on Wednesday, said they're running business. I don't understand that at all. I don't get it at all. Please, if that's you or your cousin, anyone you know, please. That is real, that's total nonsense, okay? You must remember and all the things that you're doing. Okay, good. All the things you're doing, all these things will come back to you. You need to also set a good foundation. So that is beautiful. I know someone is raising their hand. Let me see. Do I bring you up now? Or once since we're about to enter into the panel session, we would take that. Let me see if anyone has mistakenly put something in. Someone said shoulder pads here. If someone has put anything in the chat area, okay, no questions in the chat area, good. Okay, so just to help us to manage our time, we're going to get ready for the panel, but I think we're going to do the video one more time. I want to say a big thank you to, okay, for one more time, Mrs. Jai. And you saw me doing show off, you know, she's from my husband. I didn't know she was from Igara. I mean, I'm showing up, I can speak my husband's language, you know, so anyway, yeah. That's why I was saying, you know, I've also, those who know, we know, so I've also and the rest, so so that's what I'm doing. You see, even languages now, I'm sure people will want to teach. My kids are grown humans and they don't speak any Nigerian language. So if I found someone now that said in their spare time, you would teach this my graduate son or the other one, and you know or something, let them learn languages. That is money. Don't despise what you have. okay, I would gladly sit down with someone and learn Hausa properly, learn it a bit properly right now. So don't despise what you have. You can make money from that. People are making, as I've said, with Zoom and WhatsApp or whatever it is, you can teach so much. Okay. So even if you want your kids to now go and learn, maybe you want them to learn the local language or learn Igarasa or something. I'm sure there's someone out there that you can, you can be paying for that. So there's absolutely no excuse and no limits anymore. No limits. So what we're going to do is that we're going to show the video one more time, and then we are going to I love that. Please take note of that and everything. Whatever your hand findeth to do. That's really, and do. That's just it. Do it. Thank you. So one more time and then.
Did you know there are 85 million teachers in the world? And less than 3% of countries have adopted an inclusive education law that promotes teachers' training. Teaching is one of the most influential professions, but the teachers are the least celebrated.
This is what the story is today, but we can change the narrative.
The Teachers Reinvention Conference is a Pan-African conference targeted at teachers to spark off creativity and motivate them towards achieving their income, impact, and influence goals. You don't want to miss it.
Join us as we transform African education, one teacher at a time.
Let us remember that one book, one pen, one child, one teacher can change the world. Words on Stone by Malala.
Teachers are the only people who lose sleep over other people's children. The future of the world is in my classroom today.
Teachers who love teaching teach children to love learning.
I'm sorry, a teacher to attend the Teachers Reinvention Conference today.
Thank you for sharing that. Please, what this video we're sharing, this clip and this post, we're not just sharing it for fun or entertainment. It's really important. You can see how subsidized the rate is. So it's not that the $5 is going, we're not running after you for the $5. We're running after the fact that we want to impact your lives with content already. Even just what you have gleaned from this, the little, as we said, taster, the small chops that we have gotten, they're actually beginning to fill us up. So imagine how full and lasting it would be when you attend the conference, a whole 3 days. I need to get that to correct that again. Is that $5 per day, or is that $5 for the 3 days? I mean, you guys are so kind. What kind of thing is this really? But you'll type it in the chat area to remind us. But from the 5th to the 7th, please, and that's already next week. We sponsor teachers, tell others. We're already ready. So if there are teachers that for everything, who are these kind of people now that I've aligned myself with? $5 for everything. Okay, even if the rate decides to go any more or higher, it's still a very basic amount. It's very, very basic and all that. So we ourselves are going to be sponsoring teachers to attend this. So if for any reason you find you're struggling to do that, reach out to some of us and let's see how we can get you. But we just want to make sure that you gain this content. So now I want to go to the panel where we can actually get more to hear a bit more from our speakers, especially the ways that we can connect with them. Okay, so many of them, like if, for example, I wanted to start or you wanted to start a podcast, or or you're thinking, okay, Mr. Emmanuel, I've had this dream. So what do I do next? How do I align with you? How do I sign up on your programs? Or we wanted to learn a bit more. Like I love what the last part that Okayin said about the managing your portfolio. Okay, some people are probably going, Talon Jebel, what does that even mean, or so? Okay, so and those kind of things. So what are some of the things that we can learn from there? So what I want to do is we have a panel, meaning that I'm going to be asking our speakers, and then I think there's some raised hands. Let me see if I could find those hands. Okay, yeah, someone's hand is actually up. Okay, you know what? Just to be sure that your hand is up and you want to say something and it's not by accident, if you don't mind, please type on the chat area, and then I'll bring you up while I'm getting ready to have our to hear some final words from our speakers. Okay, just to be sure, because many times I've been on sessions and people put their hand up by mistake, and then I bring them up, and then they end up market buying stuff or they're pounding yam or something. Okay, so let me just be sure in the chat area. Let us know that you really have got something to say. And then, okay, so when you do that, then I would bring you up, okay? And I'll let you speak also, okay? So just a huge thank you to our speakers once again. I would like to hear from us. I think what I'm trying to see how to, like capsulate a question, just like one question. So if there was one word of advice, okay, Mr. Emmanuel, I was going to say the only male speaker, not the only man in the house, but Mr. Emmanuel, I'm going to ask you this question, okay? You mentioned that someone who came from nothing and then you started doing this and all that. Tell us the challenges along the way, because it sounds really, some people are like, yes, now I have manuscript now. Yes, So what are some of the like top 3 challenges that you faced that actually made you think, you know what, I'm dropping this, like I can't even do this, okay? What are some things that you face? And then I'm going to ask Ejiro a question, and then I'm going to ask Kenny for a question, and I'll be looking out in the Q&A section, or if anyone else wants to come up, then I'll bring them up. So Emmanuel, tell us.
Thank you very much, Amen. I'm very grateful for that question. All right. Okay. So the very first one for me would be identifying your audience. Yeah, that's one challenge that I encountered when I just started, identifying that hungry market. You understand? So yes. So that's going to be the very, very first one. So I believe that it's not unique to me, because I realize that people that are also trying to kind of delve into the industry, they also encounter such problem, So that's going to be the first one. And the second one would be, this mindset thing. Seriously, it's very, very serious, because, especially in this part of our world, people, we have this negative mindset. One of them would be like, people don't read. Who read?
Thank you.
And stuff like that. So that's another challenge. But the truth is that people actually read. Like, people read. It will amaze you that people invest in books, but it's just, it's just your mindset trying to play on you. So that's another thing that you need to.
The battle. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. And finally, pricing your product.
Ooh. Yes.
What is the product actually? Because of, and based on my experience, I realized one of the reasons is because, people like, the likes of late Myers Monroe, all these big names, John Maxwell, maybe you can just walk into the bookshop and their book, maybe buy it 800, 15, and you'll be like, okay, if those big names, they are selling their book at 15, maybe 2,000.
Yes.
Who am I? Why should I go and release a book on 5,000? Who will buy and all of that? And what many of these people don't understand is that many of these big names or big authors, they leverage traditional, like they are big names already. So once they are printing their books, they're printing maybe hundreds of
millions.
Thousands.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, maybe the amount per unit is even 100 naira in our own currency.
That's so true.
1,000, to you it will be cheap, but they are making millions and even billions already. So you can't compare that with a self-publishing author that is going to print 1,000 copies, and maybe he or she is spending per copy, he or she has already spent maybe 1.5 already per copy. You can't expect that person to now sell the book at 2,000 naira. So these are challenges that you have to face. But for me, I have worked with authors that sell their book at 13,000 naira, and it's sold out. That sell their book 7.5. It's so that my own book is currently selling at 6.5, and it is selling. So these are just some of the challenges that you will encounter. But trust me, they are surmountable if you are really, really ready to make this thing work. Thank you.
Excellent. I think that's really, see how we're always going back to this mindset thing. This mindset is really huge, because even when you're finally, how you have that imposter mindset, like, what is it me? Am I really the one people are, that they're drawn to? So I think that's really, I'm just writing that here, mindset. So please, everyone, as we said, when you go back or as you're listening, please be tapping your head and asking yourself those questions. Okay. Thank you very much for that, Mr. Emmanuel. Thank you. And I think you had put in the chat area how people can connect with you. Yes. Someone is saying here that her 4,000 naira book was too expensive. That's what she thought at that time. Again, I've seen people, I actually got a book that's like a leaflet, and it was quite expensive, and it's really not the size of the book, it's really the content and what and the value people place on that. So I think that's really, Really great. Thank you, Emmanuel. And great. Now we're going to get to hear from Ejiro. And what I want to do is that, Mr. Lucia, what you're going to do for me is that you can, when we're done with the speakers, you're going to identify one or two people that we want to bring up to talk, and then you would tell us who to bring up, and we would hear what they have to say. Is that okay? So let me get to hear from Ejiro now. So Ejiro, now one thing I've picked from this is that you spoke about, telling your story, and it's something I like to say. I like to say that everyone has a story, or rather, does everyone actually have a story to tell? That's one question. So I have two. Does everyone's story really count? That's the one question. And then, where do we even begin? So how do we know that this story is actually worth something? How do we identify that thing to know that, okay, so I have this story, so how is it worth something? How do I now make it something that, so how do I know that it's worth anything? So please, let's hear from you, Ejiro.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for this opportunity one more time. So yes, I would say a yes, but there's always a strategy to it. There's always a method to the madness. So you can't, because it's like business. Every idea is potential. Every idea is potent. But in the execution of it, if you don't, go the right way or work with the right set of people, it might lose that potential along the road, right? So, and that's why we have people like Tabiba, we have people like, us, that you can come to go through that process, right? I'm sure that Emmanuel is still here. I'm sure that somebody has given you a manuscript before, and you go through the manuscript and you're like, well, you've done a good job. Like, this is really good, but I think it can be better. So if you don't mind, we really need to work with this through our editor. And so you still ask questions to the person, like, what exactly is the message that you want to share through this book? What do you want the person who is going to read this book to gain at the end of the day? Based on that, then the editor is going to re-edit the whole book to make sure that message is lost. So if we had left it at the point of manuscript, that dream could have died down. But because there is an expert on this other side who can look at it objectively, they can bring out the what's that called thing called the pearl from the shell, right? So it's like it's hidden, it has potential, but you have to work. Like, you can't discount the place of experts in this, especially if you're going the route of self-publishing. Like, for example, what I do, the audiobooks, right? I can teach you. I'm happy to tell you, this is what you need to do, this is what you need to do, this is what you need to do. You are free to go do it yourself, but whatever you produce cannot be like what I will produce, because I'm trained for this, right? But we still give that liberty. Yeah, we still give that liberty to say, if you don't want to do it, you don't want it done for you, we can teach you how to do it, right? So it depends on what you're looking at. How big are you seeing this? How far do you want to go?
Excellent. I think that's so one thing we're trying to tell people out there is also, as you're starting, make sure you strive for excellence, really, right? And strive to build that expertise in everything that you do. So you don't just jump up and like, I'm an expert. Someone once said to us, and it was a really very apt example. Expertise has levels. So there's a 0.5 expertise, and then there's a 10. And we might all be experts in something, and everyone really is. So as I said, don't take for granted. There's some things that you do, even local things. Okay, like I've never eaten bakery before, really, and so I don't know how to make it. I'm sure I might like it. Yeah, you think so? I schooled in Ibadan, and I don't know. I haven't eaten it
You've
before.
never eaten it. Are you
look at her, you see?
me? Why?
So if I found someone here who would say, "Oh, I could teach you this" or whatever, and someone who is an expert, I would look for that person, and I would also. So as I said, everyone has those skills, and I like this. What Ejiro has said too now. So build up, and then don't just jump in and say, I've done this now an expert. Keep building mastery. So that's really good. I like those words, and that's a great way to, a nice little nugget to end your conversation. And I'm going to now go to Okeyinfu, also our final speaker for the night, and I'm going to ask her a question. And if you hear any noise in the background, just a grocery order just came in. So we're trying to carry stuff at the same time, but that's fine. Yes, Okeyinfu. I was just trying to wrap the words in my head, see if I could say the whole thing. Of course, I can't say Nigara really, but
KK is okay actually. KK is fine.
KK, thank you. Thank you, fine. KK. That's it, KK. Thank you. Thank you very much, KK. All right, KK, now Mine is Ijeku Jenna. I want to just grab some little jar of some of the things that you said. So when you spoke about that, you use that term, manage your portfolio. Okay. Can you, like, for someone who has never maybe like done project management or doesn't understand how to relate that, because I think it's a very, very, very key thing. So can you give us either anything, a case study or an example, or tell us a bit more about how we can apply that to ourselves for those people who are listening and their teachers, for example? So how do we manage our portfolios? And why is it important to even think about that? You're muted. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, sorry,
okay,
I just realized I was muted. Yeah. So the first thing in managing your portfolio is you need to first of all decide that you want to have one. When you decide you want to have one, I would say to people, for us teachers, there's a lot that we can't do. So sometimes we want to do it all, right? I would say don't try. So part of managing it is deciding which one, this is why I said, which are the ones that you can give expression right now. When you decide the ones you want to give expression, I would say to you, say to yourself, so let me give an example. If I need to go and make my hair, I'm not just going to wake up and say, I'm going to make my hair. No, I would first of all have determined what do I want to do on my hair? Why do I even want to make my hair? What day am I going to make it? What do I want to do with my hair, right? How much is it going to cost me? And then which of the salons, many salons that I have, am I going to use? So that's managing if my hair is a portfolio, that's managing that portfolio of my hair, right? So you as a teacher, for example, when you come to managing your portfolio, if for example, let's use lesson teaching, because a lot of teachers do lesson teaching. One thing you need to understand is you have a job. Don't run out of your job quickly. I don't think it's a good idea. So because you have a job and that job has dictates, right? So in managing your portfolio and coming with a project management mindset, you first of all have to identify the different things that you are doing. Then you have to prioritize and weigh each one. So you need to weigh them with respect to, for my job, for example, on Wednesdays, these are the lessons I need to teach on Wednesdays. These are the lesson notes I need to create on Wednesdays. These are maybe assignments I need to give on Wednesdays. And then you need to create that, manage it, keep it aside so that you can finish, send that out, and then at the close of the day on Wednesday, what do I need to do? Right? You have that planned out, and you actually put a time into it. And then another part for your job is to connect and say, okay, if I can't do all of this, which of my colleagues can I connect with to help me out, right? So that's part of managing your portfolio as well. Finding people that you can collaborate with, right? And then saying, okay, so these are the people. Then you then say, oh, my lesson, what time is your first lesson? Part of understanding managing your portfolio is you really cannot shortchange where you currently work. You can't, because guess what? Your integrity is then in question. And once your integrity is in question, it's in question. All right. So you then need to say, I need 30 minutes to get from where I work. If I close at 4 o'clock, for example, I need 30 minutes to get from where I work to where I need to be. So you then walk backwards and say, at what time do I then need to leave my job? Right. Understanding the fact that you might be required to stay 5-10 minutes later. So should you then maybe tell your lesson, where you're going for lesson, that you come at 5 instead? So that is what you have managed, that expectation of that person. You are managing your reputation. You are managing your professionalism such that when you get there at 5, you're not late because you didn't say 4:30 and you couldn't make it out at 4:30, right? So when you then get there, what are the things that you're going to teach that child? You need to already have planned it. So part of managing your portfolio as a teacher is you're going to put in a lot of work. All right, so that's why it's project management, because you need to weigh each and every single thing that you're going to do and say to yourself, what does it require of me to get this done and get this done well? Once you have determined that, okay, you know what, this is what I'm going to teach the child. What is the report you need to give to the parents to let them know that you have come in? And what maybe should the child do? Right, so those are things that you need to begin to look at. What in that your other job? Because guess what? That's another portfolio that you carry. So you have one portfolio is your teaching job. A second, that's why I don't like to call it side hustle, because when you call it side hustle, you treat it on the side.
Yes, at the side.
Call it a second portfolio, a third portfolio, a fourth portfolio, and that way you're giving each of them. You're giving them weights. Right, so that's something that you can do, and then put a cost to it. Okay, sometimes once you put a cost to the things that you manage, you might realize that maybe not this one, and that in itself helps you to organize and reorganize the things that you want to prioritize. So that's what I would say for managing.
Hey, thank you. This is like, I think you see, I was trying to, even I have learned so much from here. Please, I can't wait to hear or to see, not to hear, to see your your comments in the chat area. Thank you so much, Kiki. That is really, really very, very deep and very apt. So educators, begin to see yourself as project managers. You see that there's so many aspects to us, so many aspects. Oh, this is just amazing. So we are coming to the end very soon, in the next few minutes, of the pre-conference summit in preparation for the main summit, October 5th to 7th, which is $5 only for 3 whole days of juice and super value. My goodness. I'm going to ask everyone very soon to put their comments in the chat area and their emojis, but I want to tell you about this orange thing that's taken off in the first place. So the event I went for today, this is like our own means of feedback. So when we're registering, they asked us to pick either a green, orange, or a red band. Green meaning that you're okay, people hugging you and shaking hands. And because this is one of the first big public events and expos that we're having here in the UK. And orange, if you're like, yeah, I'm okay, you can hug me, but not everybody. And then red is like, don't come near me. Like, don't even touch me. Stay your 2 meters away. So I'm like, yeah, so that people don't start hugging you out of nowhere. So we picked orange and some people picked red. And I think it was a really good thing. And like what everyone has said here, I think it's really important that you get feedback in everything that you do. So, and any way you can simplify it and make it as simple as possible. This was very easy. So some people saw me, they're like, oh, hi, and they hugged, and that's fine. I'm okay, but doesn't mean that everybody should come be hugging me. So the message is very clear without me even talking. All right. So that's why I thought I would wear the band, even though it's all tatty, so I can take it off when I'm done with this. And also an idea for us also. So I think I've enjoyed this so much. I'm going to make sure I follow all these people. Because of Emmanuel now, I'm thinking I should start writing another book. So I should come to him and then Edger, I'm going to download her podcast. And I'm just excited that I've connected with my sister, KK, our sister, our Igara sister, KK. And then, I'm on the panel of these like high level superstars. Oh, he's dancing already. Look at Mr. He's dancing to what song? Look at him. He's dancing. Hey, don't worry. We'll soon play music now. So I want to say a huge thank you to everyone. Before I do that, before we allow you to leave the classroom, we want more feedback. I like the fire. I like the stuff. They're so good. All the stuff. You've all shown so much love, but please, let's see some emojis. Let's see some feedback. Let's see some color. Tell us some things, you've learned, some things you're going to do when you get to the classroom on Monday, even this weekend. What are you going to start doing? How are you going to start numbering your new portfolios? No more side hustle, Are you going to start recording things, voice notes? Are you going to start writing your manuscript? What are some things that you can do? Someone has a symbol here that's showing like, poof, I don't know how to describe that thing, but it's like boom, like my head. I'm sure there's a word for it. So Mr. Lucia, yes, dancing to a song that I can't hear, but somewhere, I have my own rhythm here too and all that. So I hope you're going to play one of the songs before so we can all dance our way out. Someone is mind blown. That's exactly how I feel myself. Someone is dancing here. Someone says 100. Ooh, I like that, the dancing things. I think we need an emoji that shows more of our Nigerian dance. This flamenco dancer lady. Thank you. Someone like this that's doing the whole Yabi. So teachers, that's something you can also think about doing. You can create emojis. Or we need more emojis for ourselves, not just the gifts. There's so many things. Okay, so please tell your relatives or everybody, please. We're targeting 1,000 educators for the 5th of October to the 7th. We're targeting 1,000 from everywhere. Get your village teachers or get, what do you call it for them? Data for them. Find a way that they can join, support them. This thing is so, so, so affordable. Come on, we can do this, okay? That means the cost of the pizza we just had now, that's like what now? This is like, I don't know. It's a fraction of the cost, okay? Thank you. The hearts, powerful presentations. That's what we want to hear. Thank you so much. I've seen someone here. She's all the way in Maiduguri. People are from everywhere. Okay, so the people to connect with. I want to say a huge thank you. I want to get ready to sign out, and I'm actually giving some virtual hugs here. So hugs, you see, I'm giving virtual hugs to the great speakers, to our chair auntie, and the founder. Big hugs to you all, and thank you so much. Okay, we have people from Abuja. Don't worry, I'll soon be back in Abuja very soon. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for the honor to be a moderator, and the errand lady at the back end. Also, thank you very much, Mr. Olusha. Please, we want a song to dance out, and everyone. Someone was asking, will we send you reminders from tonight? you will start getting the email. Don't ignore us, so we can find you. We know where to find you. So don't ignore us. We're going to probably create a WhatsApp group, an interest group very soon.
You know where they
educators.
live, right?
Thank you. I was gonna say that, but I said let me respect myself. I'm gonna say I know where you live, but we know where to find you. So don't ignore us. Please answer. Register before you now get to the point and we now say sorry, or we've reached 1,000. We won't take any more. Okay, please, like, click on it now. We have a group where we want to welcome you all, talk some more. Okay, so please, we need music on, because I've been dancing since. So let's hear you're dancing too. I'm dancing. I can't hear the music. He's dancing too. Hey, music so we can dance out. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Really great meeting you, Ejiro. Thank you, Emmanuel. KK, thank you very much. Emmanuel, we'll come back to you. We're also Subcup brethren, so we'll come back to you there, okay? So follow yourself. Everybody follow one another, support one another, download the podcast.
I will take a group photo.
Coach. Oh, yes, group photo.
Yes.
Thank you. What to do more makeup? Oh. I've got to add more to do more. You didn't allow me to put what's the thing they used to call in those days? More powder. Makeup. Okay. Have you done the group?
Say teachers. Awesome. Great. I'm so excited, and this is beyond legacy. This is like touching hearts, helping people come to purpose. Okay, so Coach KK, Coach Ejiro, the publisher himself, to whoa, and then our chair, and the team behind the backstage. You guys are awesome. I'm having fun, though. I don't know why my music is not playing, but I'm
the music. Kai,
so
I have song. I can play a song. Can I play a song? Hey.
So let's just dance. Hey. You can't kill my vibe.
Please play a song.
You can't kill my vibe.
We can't be dancing to imaginary stuff.
Let me look for this song I like. Let me see if it will play. I don't know if it will play.
Okay.
Can you hear the song?
Backend, share something.
Can you hear it? Hey! It's called God No Go Shame Us. I don't know if you know it. I really like it.
Yeah.
I need to see you dance. I need to see you dance.
Jesus, my savior.
Woo!
Hey! Jesus, my savior.
Hey! Slow down now. Auntie B. That was so much fun. Isn't education so beautiful?
Thank you. It's been amazing.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Great meeting all of you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Fantastic weekend, everybody.
Thank you. Auntie B, God bless you. Thank you very much.
Bye. Thank you all so much.
Bye.
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 Bye.